Before we get into the shout for today, the subject matter that we all talk about beforehand and we then put together and deliver it as a nice unified package. By the way, today was very difficult as we gathered the energies of all of you, as we gathered the energies of the ones who will read this material later. There were so many different subjects to cover, so many different things. We had a very difficult time in determining what we were going to talk about. But before we get into those energies, I would like to do just a wee bit of an editorial here. I don't do these very often, and I do put my disclaimer that this is my editorial, not necessarily the energy of a shout, which is all of us. I wanted to make a comment of something I'm becoming more and more aware of through Sam. And the comment has to do with the term of the one world order. It was spoken of recently in this gathering of the G20. When you take a look at humanity right now, what is happening is that for the first time in a long, long time, perhaps you could almost say for the first time in the history of Earth, the energies are coming together on a very globalized basis. In the past, nations have been separated by everything from languages to governments to financial systems. They've been protected and defended through wars, through subversive actions. Everybody held their territory. It was a form of power. There was a lot of battles and a lot of human lives that were taken in order to maintain this very defined territory and the culture within that territory. What's happening right now with the advent of modern technology is that the world is becoming globalized. Now, in a common sense, you would say, well, yes, of course, we are a planet. We have our common bond as humans and as angels, and it would only make sense that there would be a globalization. It would only make sense that we would come together to discuss both our differences and our commonnesses. And it would make sense that we would take a look at financial systems right now, take a look at governments and the interrelationship between the governments. It would make sense that we look at all of these different points right now and come to some consensuses or agreements, but also honoring and recognizing the difference in our cultures, but not closing the doors or creating new walls. So there is this talk right now, a talk that started a while back about one world order. And now this discussion of the one world order has been, villainized or demonized. And there are those who are saying, this is the end. This is Revelations. This is the end of the world. This is where Satan comes into control. There are those who are saying that the moment that you have a common currency for the world, that it's the beginning of the end, because those who seek power, those who control power right now are going to take control of all of humanity. And I have to put in my 2 cents, or €2, as it may be, and ask each of you to be discerning in your own way, but be discerning. But I have to express my voice in this. It is time for the world to come together. It is time for the wars to end. It is time for those who are trying to protect and those who are trying to be very closed culturally, politically, and in every other way, to realize the earth will move forward when there is consensus and when there is an agreement, even about the disagreements. The world will move forward when this new language, a global language, starts to take place in the world. It's not about trying to conform everybody and make them all exactly the same, but it's about bridging some of the islands. It's about ending the era of wars and differences. Once humans and once governments come to understand how similar all of us are, and once they come to understand that we're all humans on a journey, we're not Chinese or we're not just Israelis, or we're not just Brazilians or Canadians. We are humans on this grand planet. Humans are all, for the most part, all working towards the same thing, making this the planet, making this the shining example for the angelic families, for the rest of the universes out there, for the rest of the dimensions. The rest of all creation is watching right now what happens on Earth. And what happens on Earth affects everything else. Wouldn't it make sense that we, as human angels, develop some common links to each other? There are those right now who are saying that any type of one world order is going to be some new fascist state controlled by some groups or families or conspiracies that want to take over the world. And for what good? The world right now is starving, very quickly running out of energy sources, very quickly running out of clean water sources, and going through a lot of its turmoils. Oh, you wonder, why would somebody want to take over the world? I see a movement on Earth as I've never seen before. There are some inspired political leaders. I understand also there are some very old energy, very stuck political leaders, but you're seeing a whole new breed and a whole new generation of leaders who are truly selfless in terms of their service, who truly are inspired, and you know them. And I know them because they're the ones who are sharing our time together on the new earth. The old ones, the old energy, political and business leaders, they don't go to new earth. It doesn't appeal to them. But there is a whole new generation of inspired humans who are now finding their way into governments. They are going to be coming up in business right now as this shift in the business world takes over. They are coming into their rights, their own place right now in the field of medicine and psychology and spirituality. So, dear Shambra, I see this backlash, this fear, and this conspiracy that many are trying to spread right now about one world order. Again, look at it yourself, but for the first time in a long, long time, the world is coming together. And it has an excellent chance of coming together. Because, most humans, the vast majority, believe that there is something else. There is the world of spirit. There is the world of what you would call God, and they are part of it. Most humans on earth believe in some type of what they would call afterlife, but it's the continuation of the soul, the evolution of the soul. Most humans believe in angels that are with them, yes they are, that are there to love them and to surround them with this blanket of compassion and understanding, and that's really what humans need right now. Most humans believe in what you would call good. They believe in good. Very, very few humans that have an agenda of hate or control or... I know you're seeing a lot of heinous things happening right now in the world, but there are some people who are just at the breaking point and they don't know what to do anymore. There are a select few that are out for power and control, a select few. There are those who are sinister and plotting, but I'm going to tell you right now, it won't work. It can't work. It can't work. Whether it's a government, a religion, a business, or a group of power-hungry beings. Whether it's some of these, alien beings who have come into Earth and taken on human form, and there's not a lot of them, but there are some. And they're trying to advance their agenda from some of their alien cultures, wherever. It won't work. The consciousness of Earth is too high right now. the love and the goodness and the heart and soul of the humans on earth is too good and too high right now. The desire to move forward into this new energy and to ride this wave, to surf this wave of new energy in the quantum leap has gone too far and it's too high right now. So what happens is anyone who tries to control, anyone who manipulates, anyone who conspires against the love and the free will of humans on earth, they won't get very far. They'll perhaps scream and yell, they'll threaten, and they'll instill fear. But dear Shambhala, right now, the consciousness of humanity is at a point where any of these manipulative, greedy energies will come right back to them. Will go right back to them. Not because you have to throw them back, not because you have to do anything, but because humanity truly is inspired. I know there are days where you read the headlines or listen to the news, but I'm going to ask you to lay off of that for a while. Stay away from it. Many of you have already made that choice. Take a week away from the news. Even your newspapers, the news on the radio, any of that. And I want you to go in and to feel humanity, to feel the consciousness of humans on earth. Forget about the news because it focuses on some of the dramatic parts, the feeding parts. The news media, in my opinion, in this Tobias editorial, have become feeders, unfortunately. The sexual energy virus, or whatever you care to call it, has infiltrated into this because it's a banquet for feeding for the sexual energy virus, and it's gone right into the media. So, dear ones, feel human consciousness. Let's do it together right now. Let us feel human consciousness of all the dear souls all over the earth. Feel into their faces, into their energy, into their goodness. You know, there is an expression used in some of the other types of life forms in your physical universe. They call this Earth, the planet of goodness. The planet of goodness. They feel the good that is here. They know it is the advanced beings who come here. And yes, there are times when any being will stray, or they'll snap, or they'll play with power. But overall, this is the planet of goodness. I invite you to feel into the energies of those who will instill fear right now, of those who will plant doubt. And I invite you to go and feel the goodness of humanity. For this alone will bring us forth into this miraculous new time.